I get accused of being a negative Nancy. I get accused of being drama and rage bait. You know what? I spend so much time roasting other people, I might as well roast myself. So let's just roast myself. Let's put this all down in some kind of cathartic, caffeinated, nihilistic roast of me. This is the upside of being a disillusioned writer, or aka how I learnt to stop dreaming and love the void. So sit back, probably at 2 o'clock in the morning with your fourth cup of coffee and a stack of notebooks, and enjoy the catharsis. Once upon a time you were hopeful. That was your first mistake. You told yourself stories about how stories would save you. The writing was noble, that it meant something, that if you put in the hours, polished your poise, found your voice, and used enough moleskins, the world would eventually reward you with a book deal and Netflix adaptation and a tasteful New Yorker profile where you talk about your process while feeding a greyhound named Virginia Woolf. But then reality happened. The industry crumbled. The algorithm decided that your work didn't perform, that you were ghosted by several literary agents, all called Sarah, which is a weird thing. Literally, all of them are called Sarah. And now you sit at your IKEA chair and looking at your IKEA desk while your iMac glows in the darkness at 2:37 a.m. surrounded by open tabs, empty mugs, and a lingering sense of crushed ambition. Congratulations, you're a disillusioned writer now. And honestly, it's kind of amazing. For the first time ever, you're free. And for the first time, well, your idolism died, you mourned. The second time, you laughed. And the third time, you took notes so you could turn it into a speculative short story about a dystopia publishing house powered by the souls of the MFA graduates. That is a thing, by the way, I wrote that. Hope it was nice while it lasted, but let's be real, it was slowing you down. Now that's gone, you can focus on what really matters, writing for yourself, for that strange little gods of your internal universe, or those free, quietly disillusioned people who still read your blogs in 2025. And without hope clouding your judgment, you're sharper, leaner, like a raccoon in a post-apocalyptic dumpster, cunning, adorable, and terrifyingly creative. It's oddly freeing. I'm the raccoon, by the way. Remember when you used to read things and articles like 10 ways to trick your brain into writing every day, or how to build $1 billion writing routine before 6 a.m.? You were adorable. Now you write when you're haunted. You write when you're spiraling. You write when the existential dread hits enough frequency that it becomes indistinguishable from inspiration. You're no longer trying to optimize your output. You're not a content machine. You're a gremlin with a keyboard, an overpriced keyboard, I might add, and a god complex. And probably a whole other list of complexes that your therapist is yet to tell you you have. Hi. You didn't write because you should. You wrote because the void whispered an idea into your brain while you were microwaving those really sad pasta meals for one at midnight. And if that's not art, I don't know what is. And this is the quiet reality. You've lost the illusion of being discovered, and it's glorious. Nobody is coming. There is no glittering person in a publishing house waiting to pick your manuscript from the slush pile and anoint you as the next big thing, and thank God. Because now you've stopped contorting yourself to fit whatever soul-numbing trend is currently hot on Book Talk. Reverse harem necromancy? Brooding billionaire well, I can't say the word that I was going to say on this one, because that will get me in trouble with the algorithm. But it begins with P and ends with wet. Who knows anymore? You can write the thing that actually matters to you, the weird thing, the risky thing, the honest thing. You're no longer trying to be discovered, you're too busy trying to survive whatever freefall of mental health you're currently in, the collapse of it, and if you want the honest truth, the high possibility on top of ADHD, you also might have autism. And maybe scream a little beauty into the void while you're at it. Yeah. And that's fine. You know what no one tells you? Sometimes you'll write something and it won't be genius. It won't be profound. It won't change lives. It's just be fine. And that's enough. You're no longer trying to be a genius, the former gifted child who spent hours sitting in rooms with other gifted children. Some of them were non-verbal but wrote mathematics papers for NASA. And one of them went on to murder his parents brutally. Well, we'll talk about that one later, but we're not shocked, especially when it comes to those parents. You're not here to write the great whatever novel, you're here to write something that makes you feel alive for 5 minutes before the crushing weight of existence sets back into you. You're here to get the words out of your head before they foster into dreams you can't afford anymore. Sometimes you'll write something forgettable, sometimes you'll write something strange and tender and true, and sometimes you'll write a sentence that slaps so hard you sit back and whisper holy shit, and stare at your screen like it's just told you your future. That's gold. That's the drug. That's why we stay. Let's face it, the lines between mental instability and creativity is thinner than your will to live on a Monday morning, sitting on the tube. But there's something cathartic about channeling your existential dread into a 7,000-word essay about your relationship with nostalgia, or writing poetry that makes your inner teenager sob, or building entire fictional worlds where your unresolved trauma has space to breathe and wear a cool hat. You've learnt that being disillusioned doesn't mean that you've failed, it means that you've seen through the bullshit and decided to keep creating anyway. That's not failure. That's punk as hell. I hope. Here's the ultimate upside. You've embraced it. You've embraced the atrocities of your own mind. Yes, the world is on fire. Yes, the publishing industry is a haunted amusement park. Yes, your latest essay got 14 views and 7 of which were you refreshing compulsively like a Victorian widow hoping for the ghost of her husband to rise out the fireplace. But none of that can stop you anymore because you've discovered a profound liberating truth. It doesn't matter that you can make anything that matters. A single sentence that makes someone's laughs on a bad day, a paragraph that captures the fleeting feeling of no one else can name, a story about a warm light in a cold universe. You're not here to be famous, you're not here to leave a footprint in the digital snow, to tell the truth or even when it's weird. To say, I'm here, I felt this, did you feel this too? That's our job. That is who we are. Being a disillusioned writer means you've come full circle. You started out romanticizing the craft, and then you suffered for it. Now you're integrated the chaos. You're stopping clinging to the outcome. You're right because you're alive and weird for stories, even when the world tells you there's no room for them. You are, in short, a feral little myth maker with nothing left to prove and everything else left to say. And that is the most dangerous kind of writer there is. If you like this, and if you enjoy my existential dread on the internet, please remember to like and subscribe and leave a comment, because it will help the algorithm and give me a full sense of YouTube security. But also remember that if you want to support this weird little hole that I call Bald Book Geek, you can join my Patreon or become a channel member for exclusive content and early access. I hope you enjoy The Void. I'm waving at it from the park bench looking out at it now.